here in the paint studios at the Central School of Speech and Drama. The work that's going on here is for the ceiling of the Sam Wanamaker Playhouse. What we have here are a series of panels. When the painting work is finished, they will all be dismantled and they will be transported to the site and put up again. Really, it's a heavens, very much like the heavens that we've got at the Globe above the stage, but this is a heavens that goes across the whole of the auditorium. What you can see are clouds and the sky and stars and heavenly bodies. And in theatres you do find that you've got the heavens and you've got the hell below, and the stage is the place in between them where all the action takes place, the foolish actions of human beings between heaven and hell.
I often like to roll back and see how it's coming on in terms of drawing, and keeping in mind what the audience will see.
The main composition has got a lunar in the centre with a wonderful burst of light around, which is in gold leaf. And under candlelight, the glancing light of the candles, it's the reflections which amplify the light.
The area to be gilded is painted with a size which is basically a varnish that doesn't dry completely, and when it becomes tacky you can start putting the gold on it, and then like that anything that hasn't been sized can then be cleaned with a brush. When the candles lit, suddenly the whole room became alive with all the details in gold.
The Jacobean period is a wonderful fusion of Gothic overlaid with a half knowledge of classicism, because very few people had travelled as far as Italy. Most of the English artists got all of their knowledge from books, from woodcuts, and then fuse it and mix it in with the Gothic traditions that they were more familiar with. So the Jacobean is this sort of wonderfully exotic and exuberant period of eclectic references. And the source we've used here was from a wonderful painted ceiling at a private house, Cullen House, which sadly burnt down, but fortunately it was really well photographed. Everything we do, we like to make sure we've got a footnote for, so that we can say we've done this because we found an example of the right date. I worked with Theo Crosby for a number of years on the Globe project, and Theo was the original architect, and he died in 1994, so I took over as the main architect. And we have a lot of paint decoration at the Globe, of course, and what's lovely now is that we're working with the same artists. Peter and Pierre here are artists who also worked on the Globe. The skills that are required for this are really quite special. You see from all the examples of Elizabethan and Jacobean painting that there's a great confidence in brushwork. What I'm hoping is that as people are waiting for a show to go up and they're looking up at the heavens, that there's enough there for their eyes to feast on. It's full of cherubs and putti. They all have very much a different personality.
We'd like to try and keep the quaint character of them, or it just won't look like something from an earlier age, which is what we're trying to do.
The Sam Wanamaker Playhouse is almost exactly like a small version of the Globe. I think it's going to be a really very special space in the way you feel you can almost touch the action, and the action is just happening with and around you, and you're part of it and it's part of you. I think it's going to be an absolutely special space for theatre, this one. And the great thing about working on theatre projects is, as an architect, you're making something that you're handing over to another creative team. They're putting on shows, and what they do with the building is another life again. So I'm very keen to see what Dominic does in the first season, in the second season, and in the third, just how it grows as a theatre.